So I have to again start this meeting. There is a problem, again problem from my side. I don't know what is the problem. वायफाय नेहमी राहतो 2 वाजेपर्यंत 2 वाजेपर्यंत जातो. काय प्रॉब्लेम आहे? अनिश स्क्रीन बंद कर. Okay, so convection, it is always takes place. Am I audible now? Because again it is G or G ne do. Okay, yes, thank you. So please ask everyone to join. Nikhil, please convey the meeting as again, meeting not lecture has again started. So all of you have, and I think I have already explained this concept yesterday, but the voice quality was not good, so therefore I am repeating it. So in convection, if you see the, suppose this is a tube, okay, this is a tube, and through the inside this tube, what is flowing? Inside this tube, cold fluid is flowing, and outside this tube, what is flowing? What is flowing? Hot fluid is flowing. So first, hot fluid will reject heat to the what? Tube, which is solid, and then this tube will reject heat to the cold fluid. So there is a transfer of heat between solid and the fluid, which has the motion, which has the motion. Understood? So therefore, what is convection? It is a heat transfer. It is a heat transfer between the solid surface and the adjacent liquid that is in motion. If this liquid doesn't have a motion, then what will happen? If this liquid doesn't have a motion, then what will happen? If both cold fluid and hot fluid doesn't have a motion, then what will happen? That will not convection. In convection, what I told you, there should be a motion of fluid over solid surface. There should be a motion of fluid. Okay, there is convection. If there is no motion, then that is a conduction. There is a conduction. So suppose this both fluid, cold and hot fluid, these doesn't have any motion, then heat transfer from solid to liquid, which is motionless, it is conduction. It is what? Conduction. So convection is, I told you yesterday, convection is a special form of conduction where there is a motion of molecules. Okay, understood? Then third form which we have discussed is the radiation. In radiation, there is a no medium. Okay, there is no medium. The spot is receiving the heat due to what? Due to the waves. Which waves? Electromagnetic waves. So heater is radiating heat. Okay, heater is radiating heat in the form of electromagnetic waves, and that heat is absorbed by the pot. So this is a what? Radiation. So in radiation, there is no medium, and the heat is transferred due to what? The electromagnetic wave. So these are three form of heat transfer. Okay, convection, conduction, convection, and radiation. Understood? Any problem till now? So if in nature, if you say all form of heat transfer are there, from sun we are getting heat conduction, then conduction, and then this is a what? Convection. This I am going to talk this in very detail, so I will not discuss this one. Okay. So again, there is a what? some basic concept, what is heat transfer rate and heat flux. So Q is a heat, which unit is joule, but in a heat transfer we are interested in heat transfer rate, not heat transfer. We are interested in heat transfer rate. So the heat per second is a watt and it is a rate at which it is transferred. Okay, so unit of heat transfer rate is watt. And if you divide Q by area, if you divide Q by area, that is what? Watt per meter square, and it is called as heat flux. So in now next some session, we will use this word heat transfer rate and heat flux. Okay. Now all this mode of heat transfer, they are based on some laws. Okay, all the mode of heat transfer, they are based on some laws. Conduction is based on which law? Conduction is based on Fourier's law. Okay, conduction is based on Fourier's law. Can you tell me on which law convection is based? Can anyone tell you? You have already studied that law. Conduction is based on Fourier's law. This I told you. What about convection? Convection, which is the mode of heat transfer, is based on which law? Can anyone tell me? Please, you can put message in chat box. On which law convection is based? Ajinkya Shinde, can you tell me on which law convection is based? You are absolutely right, Gaurav. I am asking question to Ajinkya Shinde. Is he there? No, Ajinkya Shinde, I am not asking you yes or no. I am asking you the law on which convection is based. Ajinkya Shinde. No, Fourier's law. Conduction is based on Fourier's law. Conduction, which is a mode of heat transfer in solid, that is based on Fourier's law. Convection is based on Newton's cooling law, not Newton's law. Newton's law is Newton's first law, Newton's second law, Newton's third. No. Newton's law of cooling. Okay. I think you have also performed the practical of Newton's law of cooling in 11th or 12th standard. So conduction is based on Fourier's law. Convection is based on Newton's law of cooling, and radiation is based on anyone? Radiation is based on which law? Yash Kolte, can you tell me radiation is based on which law? Don't use mobile. You can recognize. You have already studied Planck radiation law. Okay. Yes, there are different law on which radiation is based, but in our syllabus we are going to, yes, you are correct, Nikhil. It is a Planck's law. There are number of laws on which radiation is based. Planck, then Kirchhoff, then Wien. There are number of law, but we are going to study the Stefan Boltzmann law. Which law? Stefan Boltzmann. Okay. Yes, Kirchhoff law. Radiation is based on many laws. Kirchhoff law, Planck's law, Wien's law. We are going to study Stefan Boltzmann law. Okay. Now we will first focus to the Fourier's law of heat conduction. So what is Fourier's law of heat conduction? How the heat transfer rate can be calculated in heat conduction, that is explained very well by Fourier's. Okay. So this is suppose one rectangular plate. Okay. This is a suppose one rectangular plate of thickness delta x. Rectangular plate has a thickness delta x, and one face of the rectangular plate is at temperature T1, and next face of the rectangular plate is at temperature T2, and suppose T1 is greater than T2. So what will happen? There is a temperature difference between the two faces of rectangular plate, and due to this temperature difference, what will happen? Heat will transfer, है ना? Heat will transfer from one face to another face. That is, heat will transfer from hot phase to cold phase. Understood? So I have shown this heat is transferred from hot phase to cold phase. Okay. Now I told you this is a heat transfer, but in a heat transfer we are interested in heat transfer rate. So Fourier has provided you what will be the heat transfer rate in conduction. So what Fourier has explained, the rate of heat transfer, okay, the rate of heat transfer in a conduction is directly proportional to the area. Okay, please listen this very carefully, what I am telling you. Fourier has explained what will be the rate of heat transfer in conduction. What he has explained, the rate of heat transfer in a conduction is directly proportional to the area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow. Okay, heat transfer rate in a conduction is directly proportional to the area which is perpendicular to the direction of heat flow. Now what is direction of heat flow? Direction of heat flow is this one. And which is the area perpendicular to direction of heat flow? This is the area which is perpendicular to the direction of heat flow. And let us assume this area A is A. So A is the area which is perpendicular to the direction of heat transfer. Okay. So heat transfer rate is directly proportional to the area, okay, which is perpendicular to the direction of heat flow, and the temperature gradient in that direction. The temperature gradient in that direction. Understood? So what you can see, this Q is what? Heat transfer rate. It is directly proportional to what? Area which is perpendicular to the direction of heat transfer A, and what? The temperature gradient in that direction. So what is temperature gradient here? What is temperature gradient here? T2 minus T1 divided by X2 minus X1. This is what temperature gradient, na? Okay. What is temperature gradient? Change in temperature in that direction. Okay. So what is temperature? Change in temperature T2 minus T1. Okay, divided by X2 minus X1. This is what temperature gradient. Yeah, temperature. Ajinkya Shinde, you are very good. Temperature gradient means temperature change per unit distance. You are absolutely correct. Okay. Let me erase all these things because we have to move to next slide. So this is what I told you, the rate of heat transfer by conduction through a solid in a given direction is directly proportional to the area normal to the direction of heat flow and temperature gradient in that direction. Okay. Change in temperature gradients means change in temperature per unit distance. Okay. So here I told you Q is directly proportional to the area. Okay. And this is what temperature gradient, delta T by delta X. okay, which is nothing but T2 minus T1 divided by X2 minus X1. So if you have register and pen, please write this equation. It is very important. Okay, Q is directly proportional to the area and the temperature gradient. This is what Fourier's law of heat conduction. Okay, now if you remove this sign of proportionality, then what will happen? So what will be Q? You have to put some constant there. So Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dx. Okay, this is the heat transfer rate, na, watt. This is the heat transfer rate, therefore it's a watt. So if I remove the constant of proportionality, then Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dx. Okay, or delta T by delta X. It is the same. Change in temperature with respect to what? Distance. It is called as temperature gradient. Okay, understood. So now when I have removed the proportionality constant, I have given here minus sign. Why minus sign? Because heat is transferring from what? It is transferring from hot to cold surface, na? Hot to cold surface. So heat is decreasing. So therefore, if you take final minus initial, if you take what is delta T? Final minus initial, na? If you take T2 minus T1, it will be negative. So to compensate that, we have used minus sign so that the Q will be positive. Okay, understood. Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dx. What is K? Constant of proportionality, and I have given minus sign here. Why minus sign? Because the final temperature is less than initial temperature. So T2 minus T1 will be negative. Okay, so to make that negative positive, here I have proportionally given the minus sign. So ultimately the Q will be positive, nothing else. Okay, so here this is the final statement of mathematical statement of Fourier's law. Q is equal to minus dt by minus Ka dt by dx, where Q is a heat flow rate, which is watt. A is a area, which is very important. A is the area normal to the heat flow direction. That area should be normal to the heat flow direction, meter square. K, which is a constant of proportionality, it is also called as the conductivity of material. Okay, dt by dx is the temperature gradient. What is delta X? It is the temperature difference across the delta X, and what is delta X is the change in thickness or simply thickness in the heat flow direction. Understood? Please write down this equation and the parameter in the equation. Any problem in this mathematical and theoretical statement of Fourier's law? Any problem? Anuj Mane, Avanti, do you have any problem? Chinmay, any problem? Ajinkya Shinde, any problem? Ajinkya Shinde, please put off your video. Harshal Madi, sorry. Jainil, Neha, are you there? Rugved, Rupesh, Rutvik, Sarvesh. So I think now you have understood there is no question from your side. So therefore, I think you have understood this now, Kirchhoff. Please, I am requesting you, please take one page or register and write down side by side what I am teaching, because in heat transfer there are number of equation and that equation you cannot remember. So without wasting time, please at least write down the equations. This is my very honest request to all of you. Yash, are you there? Yash Bhongle, are you there? Okay. Now let me erase. So again, what is the Kirchhoff law? It is Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dx. Okay. If I considered the initial temperature is T1, which is dropped to T1, initial distance is x1, which is changed to x2, then I can rearrange this formula. Q is equal to Ka T1 minus T2 divided by x2 minus x1. Now here I have removed the negative sign, because instead of T2 minus T1, I have written T1 minus T2. Okay. Now what is K? K is very important term. K is very important term. Earlier I named it as a constant of proportionality, but K, it is called as a thermal conductivity. What is K? It is called as thermal conductivity. Okay. And how, from this formula, how you can calculate K? K, which was called as a constant of proportionality, now I am naming it as a what? Thermal conductivity, and it is a very important property of solid. Okay, particularly in conduction. So K, how you can calculate K from this formula? So K is thermal conductivity. K is equal to Q into dx divided by area into dt. है ना? So what is K? K is equal to Q into dx divided by area into dt. So if you put all the units, what will be the final unit of thermal conductivity? This is a watt per meter Kelvin. Okay, watt per meter Kelvin or watt per meter degree Celsius. Now temperature has the unit degree Celsius or Kelvin. Now this is the question which I have observed, which is asked in many examination. In GATE also I have found this question: what is the unit of thermal conductivity? Okay. So the unit of thermal conductivity, which we have found out from this mathematical statement itself, it is a watt per meter Kelvin or watt per meter degree Celsius. Okay. Now what is thermal conductivity? We have defined the unit. Okay, that is watt per meter Kelvin or degree Celsius. What is the unit? What is the thermal conductivity? The thermal conductivity, before that, before defining thermal conductivity, we have in Fourier's law, we have what we have considered some assumptions. Okay, and what are those assumptions in Fourier's law? I will share. The In Fourier's law, the direction was unidirectional. So what we have considered, the heat flow in only one direction. Okay, so in Fourier's law, either you can consider the flow in x direction or in y direction, okay, or in z direction. Okay, but it will be unidirectional. So in Fourier's law, the heat will be always unidirectional. Okay. Second, there will be a steady state heat flow. Now, what is steady state heat flow? Can you tell me what is steady state? Anyone? Can you tell me anyone what is steady state? Rupesh Kirda, can you tell me what is steady state? We have already studied in thermodynamics steady state. Very good. I am getting good. Not space. Mihir, not space. Only first one. So in steady state, all thermodynamic property will not change with respect to time. In steady state, all thermodynamic property will not change with respect to time. Suppose temperature is a thermodynamic property, isn't it? Okay. So Harshal Madi, what is the problem? So suppose temperature measured instantly. Okay, suppose temperature measured at 2 o'clock, it is 35 degrees Celsius. So after 4 hours means at a 6 o'clock also you will get same temperature 35 degrees Celsius. So temperature will not change with respect to time. Not only temperature, all thermodynamic property will not change with respect to time. That is called as steady state. So in Fourier's law, what we are assuming, steady state heat flow. Okay. Particularly temperature will not change with time. That is delta T, the temperature difference which you are taking, that will remain same throughout the time. That will not change with respect to time. Then third assumption is temperature gradient is linear. This is very important. Temperature gradient is linear. Okay. It will not quadratic. It will not polynomial, nothing. It will simply a linear. Then fourth one is constant conductivity. The thermal conductivity of the material will remain constant throughout the heat transfer process. And last assumption is there is no internal heat generation. Okay. So if you consider rectangular slab will not produce any heat. Heat is transferred from one rectangular face to the another rectangular face due to temperature difference. Okay. Heat will not generated in that rectangular plate. So these are the 5 assumptions of Fourier's law. I have find this question also in many of the examination. Following are the not assumption of the Fourier's law. Okay, so you have to select which is the not assumption. Understood? So these 5 are assumption for Fourier's law. Then coming back to our question, what is thermal conductivity? Okay, so what is thermal conductivity? It is a property of material which is defined as ability of a material to conduct the heat through it. Okay, it is the ability of the material to conduct the heat through it. It is called as thermal conductivity. So it is a property of material, means it depends upon the shape, size and the structure of the material. Okay, and thermal conductivity is mainly important in what? Conduction, and conduction takes place in which material? Solid. So therefore you can imagine the thermal conductivity of solid will be on a higher side than in a liquid, than in a gas. Okay. So thermal conductivity in decreasing order, first metal, then non-metallic solid, then liquid, and then gases. Why metals? First, because molecules are very close to each other. In metal, molecules are very close to each other. The length of the bond is negligible. Then non-metallic solid, molecules are somewhat apart. In liquid, okay, molecules are apart from each other and there is a continuous motion of the molecules, है ना? And in gases, if you see, this bond between the molecules again increases. So it's the highest in gases, and therefore thermal conductivity of gases is least, then liquid, then non-metallic, then metals. Okay, and this is also a sequence of conductor of electricity, है ना? Metals are good conductor of electricity and gases are worst. Understood? So higher conductivity in metal due to the free electrons in their outermost orbit. Yes, this is the reason. Okay, because the ultimately the heat transfer takes place due to what? Due to the movement of electrons. Okay. Then this thermal conductivity is depend upon grain size. Okay, and the value of conductivity is different in different direction. In x direction, the thermal conductivity can be different. In z direction, the thermal conductivity can be different, and in y direction, the thermal conductivity can be different. So thermal conductivity may vary according to the direction. Okay. But in metals, what we have found out, in all direction, in metals, what we have found out, in all direction, the thermal conductivity remain same. So the thermal conductivity in x direction is equal to thermal conductivity in y direction, in thermal conductivity in z direction. Okay, and where the thermal conductivity is the same in all direction, that material is called as isometric material. Okay, all metals, generally all metals are isometric material. All metals are isometric material because thermal conductivity will be same in all direction. Okay. Then some material have a different thermal conductivity in different direction. So thermal conductivity change with respect to direction, and these materials are called as anisotropic. Okay, so in anisotropic material, thermal conductivity differ according to the direction. Okay, so therefore we have the thermal conductivity Kx in x direction, Ky in x direction, and Kz in z direction. And the best example of anisotropic material is what? The wood. Okay, so wood is a anisotropic material. Wood is a anisotropic material. Okay, understood? So what is thermal conductivity? It is the ease by which heat is conducted through any object. That is what thermal conductivity. Okay. The material where thermal conductivity doesn't change with respect to direction, it is called as isometric material. Okay. And where the thermal conductivity is changed with respect to direction is called as anisotropic material. All metals are isometric, and example of anisotropic is what? Wood. Okay. So if you take thermal conductivity, these are the thermal conductivity of some metals: copper, aluminium, brass. Okay, these have a highest thermal conductivity. You will find out these first three material are also used for electrical appliances, electrical wires. I told you good heat conductor is always good electrical conductor. So it is a what? Copper, aluminum, brass. These have a higher thermal conductivity. Okay. So metal have a high thermal conductivity. Then if you consider glass, non-metal, then water, wood, air. These have what? Lower thermal conductivity. Okay, and these all are insulator. Glass is used as an insulator. Water can be used as an insulator, and wood is always used as an insulator. So insulator means, what is the insulator? The insulator which is used to restrict the heat flow, to stop the heat flow, they are called as insulator. So these substances with the lower thermal conductivity can be used as an insulator. Any problem up till now? Yes, it's a type of resistance, Nikhil. Yeah. Any problem? So now we will see what is convection. Okay. What is convection? So convection, as we have discussed, convection takes place when fluid flows over a solid. When convection takes place, when fluid flows over a solid, then convection takes place, and temperature of solid should be higher than temperature of fluid, or vice versa. Temperature of fluid should be higher than temperature of solid. Okay. So convection takes place when any fluid flows over a solid, and temperature of solid should be temperature solid is higher than temperature of fluid, or vice versa. Then the convection takes place. Okay. So here heat can be transferred from fluid to the solid, or the heat can be transferred from solid to fluid. Anything can possible. That depend upon what? The temperature, which system is having higher temperature, solid or fluid. Okay, understood? Now in convection there are two type of convection. In convection there are two categories. First one is natural convection, and second one is forced convection. First one is natural convection and second one is forced convection. So we will take first forced convection. So what is forced convection? If for supplying this fluid, if for supplying this fluid or for moving the fluid over the solid surface, if you are using any external device, just like fan, blower, compressor, then that is called as forced convection. This is called as forced convection. Understood? And if, okay, and if the fluid is flowing over the surface due to the density difference, due to what? Due to the density difference, then it is called as free or natural convection. Free or natural convection. So when a fluid flows over a solid due to only density difference. Why density difference? Because warmer fluid what? Has a lower density than a colder one. Warmer fluid has a lower density than a colder one. So because of the density difference, fluid flows. Okay. Understood? Understood. Sanket Shinde, have you understood? Sanket Shinde, are you there? Okay. So I told you in natural convection, if you see here, the warmer air, warm air, it has a less density, therefore it is always on top. Warmer air, it has a less density, therefore because at a temperature increases, density decreases. So warmer air will be always on top, and colder air has a high density, it will always on what? Bottom side. So therefore, due to this density difference, the air always flows. Air always flows, and this is called as natural convection. Okay, understood? And this is the reason. That if you see the air conditioning unit, which is fixed inside the room, okay, it is always at the top. Have you noted down that the air conditioning unit which is fixed in your room is at the bottommost portion of the room? No, it is always that air conditioning unit is always fixed at the top of the room, or the top side. Why? Because it has to absorb what? It has that air conditioning unit means क्या रहता है अंदर रूम के एयर कंडीशनिंग यानी? Can anyone tell me which part of the which mechanical part is inside the room in air conditioning? Anyone? Very good, Yash Kolte. I am proud of you. Very good. Means you have studied thermodynamics very well. Yeah, Nikhil, you are correct. The air conditioning unit, which is always fixed at the top of the room, it consists of evaporator, and because the warmer air will be always at the top, it will absorb the heat from warmer air and it will release cool air, and therefore cool air will come to the what? Near the floor. So is what? Natural convection. So in your refrigerator also you can see, the evaporator coils. The evaporator coils. Where is the evaporator coils? The evaporator coils are always in a freezer. Below the freezer, you will find out evaporator coils at the top. Why at the top? Because whatever air is flowing inside the refrigerator, that air will absorb the heat from the stuff which you are keeping inside the refrigerator, and that air become hot air, and that hot air will go to top, and that hot air energy will be absorbed by evaporator and become cold air. Again it will come to what? Bottom. So this is natural circulation. This is what? Natural circulation. If you open the refrigerator and if you keep the hand inside the refrigerator in some chambers, you will experience that natural flow. Understood? Any question? Rudrani, any question? If anyone is sleeping, let me know. I will ask him or her question. Because I know this is a very difficult session. After lunch session is difficult. Okay, to attend and also to deliver, it is very difficult after lunch session. So now natural law of cooling means on which convection is based. What is that? So actually Newton had selected number of blocks, okay, circular blocks, rectangular blocks, and he has heated that box to suppose temperature of 200 degrees Celsius, 300 Celsius, and then he has cooled that blocks to atmospheric temperature. Okay. So therefore, it is known as cooling, Newton's law of cooling, but it is applicable to heating also. Okay, because what he has done, he has taken number of blocks, he has heated that block to suppose temperature of 200, 300, 100, and then he has recorded the time to reach to the atmospheric temperature. So therefore, it is known as Newton law of cooling, but it is applicable to heating as well. Okay, so what is Newton law of cooling? The rate of heat transfer by the convection from the surface to the fluid or vice versa, means from the solid surface to the fluid or from the fluid to the solid surface, okay, is proportional to the surface area perpendicular to heat flow, just like that area perpendicular to same, and the temperature difference between wall surface and fluid surface. So instead of temperature gradient, here there is a temperature difference between surface and solid. Understood? So heat transfer rate Q is equal to directly proportional to A Ts minus T infinity. So what is Ts? Ts is the solid temperature. What is T infinity? It is a fluid temperature. Okay, I have removed the sign of proportionality. So Q is equal to HA Ts minus T infinity. Okay, here I have not used negative sign because what I have assumed, the Ts is higher than T infinity. Okay, because 99% in convection, what we are doing, solid temperature is higher than liquid temperature. Okay, so therefore Q is equal to HA Ts minus T infinity. So what is H? H is a constant of proportionality. H is a constant of proportionality, which is also called as heat transfer coefficient. Which is also called as heat transfer coefficient. The thermal conductivity was a property of system, but here the H is not a property of a system because it depends upon the properties of fluid as well as properties of surface. So it is a composite property, na? Are you getting? K was a property of system. Why? Because in a K there is only one medium, solid medium. Heat is flowing through solid. But H, which is a constant of proportionality, it is also known as heat transfer coefficient. It is not a property of a system because its value depend upon what? Solid as well as on liquid. So it's a composite property. Okay, so therefore it is not a pure property of a substance because its final value depend upon solid as well as on the fluid. Understood? This is a very common question in online, in GATE, in any examination. What is the unit of H? So please tell me what is the unit of H. What will the unit of H? H is a heat transfer coefficient. H is called as heat transfer coefficient. What will be the unit of H? Please write down. What will be the unit of H? Please write down. That will be your attendance. I am not leaving the meeting. Okay, I will extend it because yesterday I have lost 30 minutes. So I want the unit of H. Write down your roll number and unit of H. H is a heat transfer coefficient. Nikhil Ayre. Okay. Only attendance will, only roll number will not solve purpose. I want answer of H. What will the unit of H? Jainil, you are absent. Then what is the unit? What is the rule? Roll number plus what is the unit of H? H is the heat transfer coefficient. So I told you K is a property of system and H is not a property of system. Then so we have seen now radiation. Okay. So we will start with radiation now. So in radiation, any body radiate heat. Okay. Any body radiate heat if its temperature is higher than the what? The absolute temperature. If the temperature of the body is higher than the absolute temperature, then that body radiates heat. And this heat radiated, it is called as thermal radiation. Okay. Thermal radiation. So all bodies continuously emits energy if their temperature is above absolute temperature, and energy which is radiated is called as thermal radiation. So all body radiate heat. Okay, now how to quantify that heat radiated? for quantifying that heat radiated, we have different theories which many of you has recognized when I have asked question. We have wave Maxwell theory, quantum Planck's theory, we have Kirchhoff theory, Wien theory. There are many theory which defines the heat radiated by the any object. But the most popular theory which is used as Stephen's law. Okay, law or theory. The most popular is used Stephen Boltzmann law. So what is Stephen Boltzmann law? It is stated that the thermal radiation emitted by a black body or a body is proportional to the fourth power of its absolute temperature. Okay, so what Stephen Boltzmann had found out that the thermal radiation or the heat energy emitted by any body is directly proportional to the fourth power of its absolute temperature. Okay, of its absolute temperature. So Q, if you see, Q is directly proportional to the what? T to the power 4. Okay, and then this is the heat flux. Okay, it is replaced by Q by A. So Q is equal to sigma A to the power sigma A T to the power 4, where A is the area and sigma is a constant of proportionality, which is called as Stephen Boltzmann constant. Now we will see this radiation in very detailed when we'll start the last chapter, that is radiation. But just to know you what is black body. Okay, so Stephen Boltzmann consider one body which is black body. Okay, so what is black body? The body, it is a what? It is a hypothetical concept, black body. The body which absorb all heat falls on it, and the body which reject all heat. Okay, the body which absorb all heat. Okay, the body which accept all heat falls on it, and the body which rejects all heat, that is called as black body. Okay, understood? So he has defined the heat theory for that black body. Okay, which is nothing but Q is equal to sigma A T to the power 4. So the thermal radiation is directly proportional to the absolute temperature, fourth power of absolute temperature. Understood? So this is the what Stephen Boltzmann law of radiation, which we are going to discuss again very detailed in last chapter. Okay, so what is absolute temperature? So this is a problem which I was planning to take today, but I will not take problem today. So within a 10 minutes you will finish. Don't worry. Now we will take one-dimensional steady-state conduction. Okay. One-dimensional steady-state conduction. Any problem up till now? Anyone? Please feel free. If you have any problem, you can contact me on WhatsApp also. Yeah, I think you have my WhatsApp number in group, so you can contact me in WhatsApp also. No problem. Anytime. So are you are you equipped with register and pen, all of you, or you are sitting ideally? Because now we are starting some mathematical equation. Yeah, with pen and register. pen book, pen, blank paper, anyone? Elton, you are from which state, beta? Elton? Okay, thank you. So what we will take now, one dimensional steady state conduction. Okay, and first in that we will take infinite slab. So this is a suppose one slab, rectangular slab, okay, and temperature is T1, and the one phase temperature is T1, next phase temperature is T2. So because T1 is greater than T2, heat will flow, okay, from T1 to T2. Understood? Q will flow. And the suppose the thickness is X. What is the thickness? It is the X. So at T1 thickness is 0, and at T2 what is thickness of slab? X. Understood? Now what I am doing, I am considering very small strip. If you considered, if you look this red one, this is a very small strip, okay, at a distance of dx, as a distance of dx, what I have considered very small strip, and the temperature change in that small strip, it is dt. It is dt. Okay. Again, I am repeating what I'm trying to convincing, that I am considering one slab, rectangular slab, one phase is at T1, another phase is at T2. Because of temperature difference, heat will be transferred Q. Ultimately, we have to calculate the Q. Okay, and the thickness is X. Thickness is X. And what I am considering now after this, I am considering very small strip. Okay, very small strip of thickness dx, so out of x I am considering very small strip dx, okay, and the temperature change through that small strip is dt, is what? dt. Understood? Now can I apply the Fourier's law to that small strip? Can I apply the Fourier law to that small strip of thickness dx? Yes. Okay, so what will be that? Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dx. Okay, है ना? What is dt? Temperature gradient through that strip, dx thickness. Okay, dt by dx. So this is a very what simple thing. Now whatever Q we have calculated, okay, it is for small strip dt. It is for small strip, sorry, dx. It is small. It is for small strip dx. Now we have to calculate, suppose, the heat transfer, okay, for the thickness x, for the thickness x. And here for the small strip dx, what was the temperature dt? It is very small. So when you are calculating the heat transfer through the x, what will be the temperature change? T2 and T1, T2 minus T1. Understood? So here, for calculating the heat transfer for distance x, here we have to rearrange first things. So Q by A, just I am rearranging. Q by A into dx is equal to minus K dt. Okay. Then all of you know we have to integrate, because ultimately we have to find out the heat transfer throughout the what slab, not for the small strip. So now Q by A is a heat flux, so small q. Okay, so I have to integrate the dx for the what will be the ranges? 0, है ना, 0 to x. Why 0 to x? Because when temperature is T1, what is thickness? 0. When temperature is T1, what is thickness? 0. When temperature is T2, what is thickness? X. Therefore, I am integrating dx from 0 to x is equal to minus k integration. What is the limitation for dt? T1 to T2. Initial temperature minus final temperature. Understood? Now, after integration, what you will get? Qx minus k T2 minus T1. Okay, or Q is equal to minus k T2 minus T1 divided by x. So this is the what heat flux or heat transfer rate that we have calculated. Understood? Any question? Please, all of you give responses. If you have any problem, let me know. We are sitting here for solving your doubt. This is not a time pass activity that we have set a timetable and we should follow it. No, it is for your convenience. If you have any doubt, please be active. Only some students are giving responses. This Mihir, Chaitanya, they are always giving responses. What about others? Thank you, Neeraj, for giving the response. Chetan, today you have given response for first time. Yesterday you were very active. Okay. Now, understood? Now, suppose again at a distance of B, please see, at a distance of B or at a thickness of B, suppose the temperature is T. Suppose temperature is T. So can you apply now the Fourier's law? Just see, at a distance of x, what is final temperature? T2. At a distance of x, what is final temperature? T2. Instead of that, now what we are considering, at a distance of B, the final temperature is now T. So what will be the heat transfer rate? So it will be simply what? Same. Q is equal to minus K. Instead of T2, there will be T. T minus T1 divided by, instead of X, there will be B. Okay. If you compare these equations, if you compare these two equations, okay, so what will be the final value? Q and Q is same. You are not asking me why Q is same. Anyone is not asking why. Q is what? Heat flux. It is nothing but heat transfer rate divided by area. Okay, so why Q or why heat transfer rate is same? Here Q is same. Q is same in each case. Q is same. If a distance is B, still the heat transfer rate is Q. If distance is X, still heat transfer is Q. Why? Nikhil, are you getting the question? Because we are considering steady state. What we are considering steady state, Q will be same. Q will not change with respect to time. Q can, yeah, we are considering steady state, one dimensional steady state equation. Q will remain same. Q will not change with respect to time. It can change with respect to direction, but it will not change with respect to time. So therefore Q will remain same. No. Q is not equal to Q. So no, you are, don't get confused. 1 minute, I will tell you. Now I have removed that heat flux. Okay, we are considering only heat transfer rate. Okay, so heat transfer rate is same. Heat transfer rate is same. Why heat transfer rate is same? Because we are assuming steady state. We are assuming steady state. And about the area for the surface area, the normal to the heat transfer, it is always remain constant for all three cases, whether the distance is dx, distance is b, or distance is x. The surface area perpendicular to direction of heat flow, it will always remain same. Okay, so please write down this. Please write down this. Have you finished, all of you? Nikhil Ahire, the strength of your class is almost 70 to 72. Am I correct or wrong? I don't know. But only 38 to 39 students are attending. Is this the same scenario with other class also, or it is only to the heat transfer? Because what we are discussing, this is the basic, and you try to find it in a book, you will somewhat you will get confused. Okay, so now we will just 5 minutes we will finish. Okay, we will take now the heat transfer through the hollow cylinder. Okay, which is having the length L, which is having the length L. Okay, so if you consider this hollow cylinder, it is having the internal radius of this hollow cylinder is Ri and external radius is Ro. Okay, and T2 is higher than T1. Therefore, okay, I will use annotation. Here again I am repeating, we are considering the heat transfer rate through the hollow cylinder. So is the hollow cylinder of length L. Internal diameter is Ri, external diameter is Ro. Okay, and here T2 is greater than T1, therefore heat is transferred from inside. Extremely sorry. T1 is greater than T2. T1 is greater than T2, therefore heat flows from what? Inside to outside. Now we need to find out this Q, heat transfer rate. How to find out this heat transfer rate Q? Okay, so now again we will do the same thing. Have understood? So again we have to use the same logic. Okay, what we will do, consider we will consider a very small strip. We will consider a very small strip. Okay, what is the thickness of this whole? What is the thickness of this whole hollow cylinder? It is Ro minus Ri, है ना? Ro minus Ri. So we will consider very small strip of thickness what dr. of thickness dr, and the temperature change in that small strip is dt. Is what? dt. Understood? Are you getting? What we have to find out? The heat transfer Q from T1 to T2. For that, what we are considering? The very small strip inside this hollow cylinder, very small strip of thickness dr, and what is temperature difference there? dt. Okay, so what will be the Fourier law? Fourier law will be now minus ka dt by dr, isn't it? Minus ka dt by dr, not dx. It will be now dr. Okay, so this is a heat transfer through that small strip which is having thickness dr and the temperature difference dt. Now if you want the whole heat transfer from T1 to T2, what you need to do? You need to integrate. Okay, so therefore we will rearrange this now. Q by A is equal to minus K dt by dr. Now what is A? What is A? Surface area, na? Surface area. Okay. So what is surface area of this one? For that, what we are assuming, please see what we are assuming. The distance, the radial distance of this strip dr is r. Is what? R. Therefore, the surface area will be 2 pi RL. Surface area will be 2 pi RL. Understood? We are considering the radial distance of this strip of thickness dr as a r. Therefore, surface area will be 2 pi RL. Understood? Please write down this. Please copy this. Soumya, thank you. So first step is this one and then this one. Okay. Written all of you? Within 5 minutes you will conclude. Don't worry. I am not taking your time now. Now, this is the final for a small strip Q by 2 pi RL minus K dt by dr is for small strip. Okay. Now, we want a heat transfer throughout the hollow cylinder. So for that you need to integrate the things. Okay. So what you will do? So Q by 2 pi L you will take dr here, dr by r minus k dt. Okay, and then we will integrate this dr by r from what is inner diameter ri, what is outer diameter ro. Understood? Is equal to minus k, what is the inner temperature T1, what is the outer temperature T2, okay, dt. And then what you will get, what is the integration of this one, okay, ln ro by ri, and what is integration of this one, T2 minus T1. So q divided by 2 pi l ln ro by ra is equal to minus k T2 minus T1. Okay, if you rearrange these things in terms of q, you will get 2q is equal to 2 pi kl T1 minus T2. I have removed the negative sign, therefore T1 minus T2 ln ro by ri. So this is what heat transfer. This is what heat transfer through the heat transfer rate, not heat transfer rate through the hollow cylinder. Okay, please write down this and put down your roll number and name, because I have seen only 32 students or 31 students attending. So please, at attendance, final attendance, put down your, please write down your only roll number, that will be sufficient. Okay, and you can leave. If any problem, you can stay. If any problem, you can stay and ask me the question. Otherwise, you can leave after copying these things. Please copy these things. This is very important. Why you are wasting why don't waste this 1.5 hours just for sake of attendance. Please physically and mentally attend these lectures. Elton, thank you too. Gauri, are you there? Gauri and Yash. बेटा बोल.